my God, throwing flowers. Okay, thanks a lot, Karina. Welcome everybody, welcome to my webinar. I'm broadcasting live from Mexico City. This is me, myself, Alberto Alvarado. This is my my free YouTube channel. If you want to subscribe, iiivb stream room channel, you type this in the YouTube search box, this shows up and you click subscribe. Today is Friday, February the 10th, 2017, 1 a.m., 12 minutes past the hour local time, 7 a.m., 12 minutes past the hour GMT time. Would like to thank everybody for showing up, all the guests. Rocas, good morning. Katarina, good morning. Well, it's time just to start. Let's begin with the fun. Thanks, Roca. Okay, let me close my new avatar. Let's move right straight to what it's important to me, at least right now in the contest account. This is the trade that I opened yesterday. You remember? I was commenting publicly. Okay, well, going against even some technicals, etc., and the overall sentiment, yeah, my short was correct. I open it here. This descending channel is still valid from yesterday to today. This is what happens when you make yourself the habit of following chartist patterns in high quality time frames like the 4-hour. So yeah, I shorted here. Some hours it wasn't a loss, but then we have this sell-off. Then we have the Central Bank of Mexico increasing the rate. Again, why not? This is the gambling economy, so why not increase it? So now we are standing on a 6.50% of interest every year. It's a joke, really. But well, apparently at times stupidity is the only thing that politicians tend to repeat over and over again. This is simply condemning the Mexican economy to a recession overall after the attempts of Donald Trump, that I really don't know what's going to happen with this guy, if he will be able to do half of the things he wants. But in any case, that he really tries to withdraw from NAFTA, renegotiate or whatever, of course that won't be in the best interest of Mexico. So yeah, that plus, by the way, I don't know if it was Moody's yesterday or Standard & Poor's, I believe. They warned on the huge debt in Mexico that could hurt the overall outlook on the Mexican economy. I mean, that is not surprise, of course. Overall, if you live here, you realize this precise thing. So yeah, and this is not getting better by any means. I do believe that this Mexican strengthening after Donald Trump swearing as president is circumstantial, because yeah, maybe either the market is considering that in a most radical scenario, even Donald Trump could be impeached. I see that very low probabilities to happen, but at least yeah, some players are putting some resistance against his ideas. I mean, unfortunately, the move this guy, not directly of course, the White House talking in favor of the merchandise of his daughter from the White House, that is something that politically will cost him a lot. And that could actually put him in the bullseye of the ones that will try to impeach him because of the conflict of interest. Because that is simply insane that you have the White House defending a trademark of the daughter of the president. So yeah, this will get interesting. But even though that could lose a little bit of grip on the pressures on the Mexican peso, we've seen that dropping from the 22 to the 20.4, the overall fundamental outlook for the Mexican economy is not good. So at any moment, this could start moving up. I mean, with maybe no rush, but for the next 1-2 years, I expect the Mexican peso to be close to the 30. But that will take some time, and it will be gradual, etc. But well, of course, I am not trading, in this case, the Mexican peso for longer time frames, but just for the contest. And by the way, this trade, I actually open it in live accounts. So yes, I am happy. I am happy because this trade is not only just about to be closed at profit target, as you can see. It was open here. It just moved against me. It just touched this upper line of this descending channel and it sold off. Then we have the decision of the Bank of Mexico, sold off, and it's continue moving down. My take profit at 20.3. So I believe that at least the market will try to retest in this week or between this and next week the 20 level. And maybe after that start moving up. But we need to wait and see. But yes, I am happy. As you can see here, my stop loss is, I could reduce it to the 20.5. But I'm not sure. Since today is Friday, and since I learned in the bad way the lesson of margin call last week on the Friday, when the leverage is reduced by Dukascopy, of course I will close this trade. I expect this trade to be closed at maximum profit in the next hours. But if by London closing this trade is still hovering here, I will close it as it is, at the price it is, and that's it. I won't keep this trade open during the weekend. I am currently using 56% of the leverage. So if, for example, in any case, the market starts moving, or at this moment we have the weekend leverage, immediately I would be using 150% of margin. So it doesn't make any sense to keep that open. So yes, I am happy because this trade, if it touches here, this will end up doubling my account that was more or less in $17,000. So yeah, I still have chances to overcome all the losses during the next weeks in the contest. I was trying to review some strategies that I could start using for the trading contest. And since I am still trading my live accounts, of course, but I won't drop the contest, I need to find something that works for me and that I can make simultaneously. So yeah, maybe believing that in this month I will get 100% of profit, it's unrealistic. I will be more than, my objective is to play it conservative and just to overcome the losses, maybe 20% in profit and that's it. Because yeah, even if it's possible to, for example, yesterday AAA rated was commenting in a contest that he was 50% of, he lost 50% of the account, and he ended up, if not, I'm not wrong, closing that month with 400,000 in profit. So even though it can be done, at least in my case, that would require me live trading time. And that is something that, yes, I need to put a limit on that. But yeah, I must admit that it is good to at least close the week with this winning. Overall, because of the delicate equilibrium, delicate reasoning, shorting this was like a very sophisticated, subtle aspects that made me short this. I was reading elsewhere that maybe because of these things, of Moody's, etc., this could or should start moving up. But the truth is that the markets are not in a rush now. They are taking their breath, taking a pause. So yeah, I don't believe if they could wait since the Donald Trump sworn as president up to now not to start pushing the price higher in this pair, well, why not just wait some more days or weeks? So yeah, that is why I decided to open this trade here. As you can see here, this is very close to support. Actually, when I shorted this, for some people, if you see the 4-hour chart, these three candles were doing higher lows. And even this one, you could even read it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles to the upside. So yeah, I can bet you that here a lot of traders started longing this. But yeah, the price action, I mean, I know very well Mexican peso. I trade it all the time. So maybe that is why I have that little extra edge on understanding these very particular price actions on Mexican peso. Let's remember that my best trades last week in the trader contest were in the Mexican peso. So well, this is something that has me happy. I will close it. And we will start reviewing. Let me start taking some screenshots. Well, it's nothing to talk about my performance in the contest. I am in, show you. Let me take another snapshot here. join the room. Okay, well, I just hope that maybe the recording didn't broke up. So, well, this is pretty much about the trading competition. I'm going to read out loud my post in the trader blog because as you remember, this is the way I try to help other traders at Asian opening, because there is a lot of information during the European and American, but there's a huge lack of information during the Asian session. So yeah, I put it, of course I was talking about this, okay, Katerina, no problem, but it was 10 minutes with no sound? That was way too much. Whoa. Okay, well, no big deal. Today is Friday, so we don't have that much things to talk about, so no worries. So, well, this is my today's blog post, of course, analyzing the Mexican peso 4-hour outlook, and I will read out loud. Majorly, and after the same and boring salesman speech style, POTUS tries successfully to create the hype on U.S. future, promoting the next awesome tax program. It is thought that could include a major slashing on taxes to stimulate the economy and obvious measures. The result of this hype was that across the board, it was a bullish sentiment for the USD. The only exception this time was the Mexican peso, because it gained terrain after the Mexico Central Bank increased again, and in a continuous gambling style, 0.25% interest rate, leaving it at, this is a mistake, this is not 6%, it's 6.25%, one of the highest in the world, mostly reflecting the inherent risks of holding Mexican peso in the long term. I expect the quote take out the 20.3 level convincingly before the weekend, and we're just close to that point. So yeah, this is my contribution for today. Of course, at this moment, maybe this couldn't help a lot of people because the movement has already happened. Of course, I am assuming that the ones that like my posts at least could watch the recorded, or if not the live sessions of my webinars, and if in any case they did, maybe they could profit from this dollar Mexican peso short, because yeah, here the movement's already over, and as you can see, we have this descending channel, and this could even continue lower, because if you, I'm going to tell you the exact point. If you have a sudden, let's believe, sell-off for some reason today, up to the bottom, to the lowest line of this channel, descending channel, you should be meeting the 19.90 zone. So yeah, this makes sense. This is aligning with what I am expecting maybe in the next future, as I just explained at the beginning. The Mexican peso, the USD Mexican peso to get to the 20 and then maybe start moving up. Fundamentally, as I said some minutes ago, there are simply no reasons to believe that Mexican peso is fundamentally strong. So yeah, this should be a clear, as I said before Donald Trump even winning the elections, the Mexican peso is going to be the pair to watch during his administration, for obvious reasons. So, well, that's what I posted today, and I'm going to review what happened to my very bad yesterday trade on New Zealand dollar, but this has a reason, okay? Here's the New Zealand dollar. As you can remember, my long, I opened the long, I believe it was here, and then it was stopped out here. Okay, and as you can see, the stop loss was correctly selected. You remember that I moved 20 pip because of this lowest line. Some people could, and this is a very bad habit, when you start trading, you start getting fearful of assuming losses. And that's normal, but you need to simply get used to that because this is normal in the trading world. But when you find very specific circumstances, you can move, and under very specific circumstances, to move the stop loss not in your favor, like this situation. I put the stop loss just below, more or less at these highs. Okay? I want you to see what happened after. I was stopped out and the market continued to the downside, and then it retested here the stop loss and continued selling off. This means that this stop loss was accurately selected. It was not a random move that I just moved because I was fearful of assuming losses. No, this corresponded to the at that moment 4-hour triple top configuration that justified moving only 20 pips against me the stop loss. And as you can see, this confirmed that actually that was the price a lot of traders were considering as a major stop loss level. So, but I must say, maybe only 10% of the times you can actually move your stop loss against you, and it is still a good move. Pretty much the 90% of the times is just a mistake to move your stop loss against you. Under very specific circumstances, it's only valid to do that. Okay, so this is where the New Zealand dollar is trading now. We're going to review in some minutes. You need to remember that here relies the weekly trend line to the downside that was broken to the upside these last 2 weeks. So this should mean a very interesting support level. I was explaining to other fellow traders that maybe the potential trading opportunity, speaking conservatively, because of course we need to see what the price action is. But if you imaginarily draw a descending trend line like the weekly one here, and this is the 4-hour chart that, as you can see, the markets really detected this, and this is stop loss as a reference. Maybe the next opportunities, if things continued equally, is that maybe, for example, the New Zealand dollar could start trying to move here, retest, and then moving back, but lower. Since this trend line in the weekly is the one that the longer term players could be watching, and in any case that they continue interested in buying New Zealand dollar, they will favor buying in the dips. And we will have a very, very interesting, let's say, playing court here. If we could have, for example, a movement to the upside, it could go down again to retest the weekly, and then maybe we could have again this and then retest the weekly. And since the bulls here are not really in the rush to close the trades in the next 2-3 days or 2-3 weeks, we could actually find interesting trading opportunities in this zone, all this zone. The lower it gets, the wider this will be, but we need to watch it. But well, this is like an idea I am giving to you. In any case that you're interested in watching the New Zealand dollar opportunity, since New Zealand dollar is not precisely the most favorite pair and the most volatile one, it's not like the first choice for traders. But in this, again, very specific scenario, this scenario is so specific that it justified me to move a stop loss 20 pip against me, and still be the market demonstrated me that that level was correct. So under these very circumstances, the New Zealand dollar could start moving and increasing volatility. We need to wait and see, because yeah, now I believe that while the price stays above that weekly trend line that I will show you in some moments, that it's more or less running from this direction to this direction. As long as it jumps above, that means that the bullish sentiment is active, but not in an active way, but in a passive mode. But it's still valid, okay? So check it out if you're interested in doing so. Let's move to the next one. Okay, here it is. This is the euro-dollar triangle that I posted on February the 7th in the traders blog. As you can see here, this ascending triangle in the 4-hour chart was broken. I was commenting that, of course, the logical risks here are to the downside, and in any case somebody would like to bet to the upside, you need to watch very closely the stop loss levels and not being overconfident and using wide stop loss levels. And you can see here that this breakout, the market shyly retested here, but here it was not possible and the market's just about to make a lower low. Let's remember that maybe the first take profit target is this one at 0.10615 or something. So yeah, here we could have maybe a jump or something, but everything outside this triangle is bearish. Even if it starts retesting this, is the same scenario, but the opposite in the New Zealand dollar. Of course, the New Zealand dollar, the trend line to retest is a weekly one, and this is only a 4-hour one. But while the 4-hour respects this, even if it goes higher, the bearish sentiment is valid, but it could become passive. But here, the sentiment is to the downside, and it's very healthy. I don't know what will happen today, if we're going to have any major news on euro today. But and since today is Friday, usually they are kind of lazy days. So I don't know if we could see some massive movements. But well, don't be surprised if by some reason on Monday we see a kind of gap in the euro high, retesting just this level, just to sell off again, or even lower. So in any case, you want to keep some euro trades open, and you need to consider all this. Let's move on to the next one. And this is one of the ones I liked the most. I will tell you what, this exercise is not just to show off. No, this exercise is for you to realize the value of the posts, the value of really understanding, because chartist patterns, you can find them everywhere. I mean, in the 10 minutes, in all the assets, in all the crosses, in all the pairs. But I really make my best to choose the ones that I believe are the best ones in quality. So you can, when you look back, you can see precisely this. Example, this was posted February 6th. This was on Monday. Okay. And then this moment, I was commenting this rectangle in the Aussie. And look, retesting. Maybe it's not, this scenario is not valid now. But the things that are chartist patterns, when you choose them correctly, they used to continue working for days or even weeks. And look, I don't like the 1-hour chartist patterns, but in this occasion, I consider that in the Aussie, even if it was a 1-hour chart, it met the criterion to share it with you as a very reliable chartist pattern on Monday. And almost 5 days, one available week, working week after, this support has shown to be very good. Okay, let's remember that this was a non-farm payroll mess. So the non-farm payroll mess gave us a land in the sand that the market continued recognizing. That is why I believe that even though here is the bearish comments by the Royal Bank of Australia, the same thing that happened with the Royal Bank of New Zealand, we have a very bearish movement to downside. Here it was very contained. It was way wider in the New Zealand dollar, but we have a reason, even though when you have a sell-off, big one, but after having a weekly breakout, actually that means buying opportunities. That is why the New Zealand dollar continued selling off even more, because now the bulls want to justify themselves sells watching that descending trend line in the weeklies to be good enough to support and to defy the bears. So if you watch the Australian dollar, that is actually not getting lower, this could give us an idea that while the Aussie is testing this, the New Zealand will be testing a weekly line. So that is why the potential for, and I was saying that in the latest webinar, the potential for the New Zealand dollar this year is huge. If in any case, that weekly trend line, the price action manages to stay above, you can see at the end of this year a huge massive movement to the upside on New Zealand dollar. Not in Australian one, but in the New Zealand one. So keep an eye on that. In any case that you like to open trades more like investor type, maybe peso and New Zealand dollars are the one to look. And this is the Euro 4-hour chart. Remember that in the 4-hour, it was 4-hour. Let me check. The second one I showed to you, no, the third one, Euro Dollar 4-hour outlook, that we have a here. We have this breakout here. But now in the 4-hour, a chart is patterned from, again, February 6th. The one that I posted at that moment, when the market started receiving news on Marine Le Pen, etc. Yes, this is what this is talking about. Yeah. So this is the chart is pattern at that moment. So now look at this. The market is retesting this. So when you watch this 4-hour chart is pattern, plus the other 4-hour chart is pattern, it makes sense why the market was not able to continue retesting the ascending line of the triangle, but started being hesitant in this zone, because here runs a very important support. But look at this. If the fundamentals are right, I wouldn't be surprised that if price meets this one, you will continue having a sell-off. The first here, of course, because this is the logic one. And then, well, maybe you could take half of your positions there. But yeah, according to the fundamentals and price action, etc., this has a huge room to go to downside. In one 4-hour chart is pattern, ascending triangle, we broke here. If we break here again, this is the second one in 4-hour chart. So the euro-dollar perspective is not getting healthy for the bulls. I will just have a snapshot of the euro-pound because I was commenting on a very important potential opportunity there, because last week I was holding a short trade in euro-pound. And I was stopped out because of the margin call. But yes, I was expecting a euro-pound wild movement to the downside in the next weeks. Let me show you another weekly rising wedge that I posted February the 5th. So yeah, we had that movement, that breakout of the triple top in the 4-hour, and then retesting a weekly trend line now here. But in February 5th, in the New Zealand dollar 1-week chart, we had this rising wedge. So we are having, in very big time frames, very good looking justifications to consider being bullish on the long term in New Zealand dollar. You can see it here. Even though this seemed to be a huge sell-off after the New Zealand Royal Bank, this is circumstantial. The momentum of this sell-off was sustained under the light of weekly charts. This is why we had a massive sell-off, but not necessarily because the New Zealand dollar will break below that descending channel that we're just going to see next. But here, we are just not in the middle. Of course, the middle is this. But yeah, in the middle of this channel, rising wedge, sorry, we had a sell-off. So this is perfectly normal. Technically, this is a first take profit target. If you draw a midline here, you see that here we have the first draw a midline here. Here, retest zone. Here, retest zone. Here, retest zone. Here, retest zone. So yeah, so that this is perfectly normal for what the New Zealand dollar has been doing lately. And just to close, precisely this one, the one that I really loved, because this is very, very good looking. How this looks. Now it makes sense, right? Now that hype in the media of the New Zealand dollar will continue selling off because blah blah blah, and that, when you put that in context, in the 4-hour chart triple top, at the very first logical stop loss for the ones that were betting for an upside move like mine, the charts, the market demonstrated us that it was the exact price that accelerated this movement, but not it was only accelerated because of price action circumstances. There was a huge stop loss there for the ones that were betting all these weeks to the upside. They said, you know what, if that price triggers, start taking profit. Again, because this weekly chart is used by longer term traders and investors. Now look how this looks. The price is just testing, and we'll close the week testing this support. So all the bearishness there is in the media on New Zealand dollar is like kind of out of context, right? Because you need to see this trend line to be broken to the downside convincingly, but guess what? You still have that, let me show you that again. No matter, even if this kind of breaks, we still have here. Okay? We still need to break this. So yeah, this zone between here, we are retesting that level, okay, that descending trend line. So this room could be very interesting. Just from here to this bottom could become a very tight, active, high volatile. And what you can expect in this zone is that volume will shoot up in New Zealand dollar. What is the best consequences of volume shooting up? Spreads are reduced. So you will have very good chances to open short-term trades in New Zealand dollar because the spreads are going to be reduced, in my opinion, while the market retests this zone. Both weekly charts, okay? And just to finish, let me grab the euro-pound chart. Oh my God, I am really upset now. I'm going to show you why. Oh my God. I was so right in this trade. Well, I want you to check this out. Do you remember what I was saying on the euro pound potential sell off because of I opened a trade in my trading contest? Okay, look at this. This is where I shorted it. This is where I was stopped out. On Monday I said if I hadn't been stopped out, I would simply maybe let it run. But because of my account was badly hit, I tried to look for more conservative trades because euro pound, if it moves against you, it moves against you in pound pips. So that is a lot. But look at this. It retested this high, and look. It was a drop off, let me just tell you. From 0.864 to 0.85. So what it was 140 pip. That means 280 US pip in this trade. So well, yeah. This is the important thing. This is the daily chart. Look at this line. Just being broken. This is very dangerous for euro. Overall, because now, yeah, it comes that, yeah, again, yeah, Brexit will happen, even of the latest resistances, political resistances, it will happen. So investors will run to put money in the UK as safe haven. In the meanwhile, this year, the markets could realize if actually the EU zone will continue existing or not. And this is the weekly one. Just figure out, if we close the week at these levels, this is where we're going to stand next week. That doesn't mean that this will sell off. No. Markets love to open below principal trend lines and then come back in. Okay. But I want you to check this out. This is the weekly chart again. This is the daily chart. Here is something that you should notice, and I have 5 minutes for this. The first retest was this. Look where the this is the 10 or 20. Let me check. I believe this is the 20 period moving average. First retest it was here. The second retest, this midman, was here. Look where it is now. Just crossing this line. This won't help the bulls here. And this is aligned with fundamentals. That is why I was saying, if you're going to do something with euro dollar, be very careful if you want to long that. Because even the euro GBP is showing that in comparison, euro will lose value against pound. That doesn't mean that euro dollar will drop. But everything is aligning in that direction, okay? And well, I believe that's pretty much. I wanted to show the pound, but I believe that maybe let me see if I can relaunch just quickly the screen sharing thing. Now, apparently I should restart everything, but no. I don't know, we're going to have a webinar next, so I believe that we will just leave it here. But in any case that if you are interested in watching, go to the 4-hour and the daily charts in pound, and you will see how different. Oh, here it is, just quickly. This is pound daily. And this is pound 4-hour chart. Yep. Just quickly. If you want to check it out, this is the daily chart in pound. Made low here, confirmed here, retest here. This is solidity. So check it out this weekend if you're interested into the euro pound trade I was commenting. I would like to thank everybody for showing up. Of course, Rokas, Katerina, Xenia, David, buongiorno amico, and all the guests. So remember that I expect you all next week on Monday, same time, same place. Remember to trade safe,